Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and today I'm reviewing Marvel Remix from WizKids. Marvel Remix is based on fantasy realms and captures the core gameplay aspect of trying to have a hand of cards and trying to iterate through the process of drawing and discarding cards towards the perfect optimized scoring hand. This is a 2 to 6 player game, and in this game you're going to start with a hand of 7 cards. You're going to start with 1 villain from the villain deck, and then 6 cards from the Remix deck, which could be a variety of things, including locations, maneuvers, heroes, allies, equipment, all of that stuff. In the game, the general idea is you're just going to be drawing a card, discarding a card, drawing a card, discarding a card. That is the entire game. Draw, discard, draw, discard. So for example, on my turn, I'll go ahead and draw a card from the Remix deck. I'll take a look at it. This one looks great over here. Let's see if this works for me. I don't know if it does. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and grab this card. You know what? We're going to go ahead and grab this card and discard this card over here. So we're going to start building our deck. We're going to play this card to the discard area. This is now entering the discard area, which means the next person now can draw from either the villain deck, the Remix deck, or the discard area. That's what they're doing. So maybe I go ahead on my turn, and I'll go ahead and, again, let's just go back to my turn, skip other people's turn. I draw Magneto. Now Magneto can go into my hand. He gets blanked unless he blanks all equipment and ignores all of those little symbols over there, but they keep the detail. The problem is I have an equipment in my hand. Do I care about it? You know what? I'm actually going to keep Magneto and I'll worry about the rest later. So we're going to go ahead and keep Magneto, and we're going to discard this card to the player area. You see, ultimately what you're trying to do in this game is you're trying to optimize and work your way towards the best score. The game will end when there are 10 cards in the discard area, which might seem like it'll happen super fast, and it will happen reasonably fast. This is a quick playing game. But at the end of the day, what happens is as the game progresses, cards you discard, cards that don't work for your hand, will work for other players' hand. So when someone else takes their turn, they think, oh, I could really use that spear over here. They'll draw it, and they'll just discard their own card from their hand into the play area. So as the game develops, especially the more players you have, the cards that are feeding into the discard area are wanted and desired by others as they work their way towards that optimal hand, which means you do have some time to actually go ahead and build your deck. It's not going to be over in like 5 turns in a 2-player game. You're going to be feeding off the discards that you're each playing around with, and you might find yourself getting 7 to 10 turns to work towards your optimal hand. As far as what the optimal hand consists of, what you're doing in this game is you're going to be going for those points over here in the top left corner. All cards are going to have points in the top left corner, although before we continue, we should note that if you end the game without a villain and a hero or ally, you lose. You must have at least 1 villain and at least 1 hero or ally in your deck, otherwise you lose the game. So you need to be mindful of that requirement offhand, but once you have those requirements, so in my case I have 2 villains, a hero, and an ally, so I'm good to go. But once you have that, you're going to score the points in the top left corner of the card, but then be focusing on the abilities of the cards at the same time. So for example, this 16-point card right over here says blank a villain unless with 2 or more of those eye tags. The problem is right now I don't have those eye tags, so I'm going to have to blank a villain, so which basically negates the card entirely. This black cat, I'm going to ignore her score, I'm going to ignore her ability, because I didn't build towards those, and that's because I played a very short intro, but that idea over there of blanking cards is going to be present. So this 16-point card, it's a very quick and easy 16 points, but it comes with the trade-off of the fact that you have to be mindful you're going to lose an effect unless you get those extra eye symbols. Over here we have Moira McTaggart, who has 1 hero with that symbol may count 1 tag twice, which means you see if we had a hero with this symbol we can count it twice, but we can't in this case, so we'll have to look for other tags that are helpful to us. Over here we have Madripoor, which is going to give us 8 points for every single one of those tags, because you're paying attention to the tags, the points, and the abilities on every card. Over here I was working my way, in this very short example of a game, I was working my way towards a deck with a lot of these symbols over here, because I would score 8 points for every single one of those, and this card wants at least 2, giving me at least 16 points if I can work my way towards those without losing any villains. That's basically what you're doing in the game. You're trying to build a hand that's mindful of the top score, the tags on the card, and the ability on the bottom card, if there are any. There's a few interesting cards, such as cards that rotate or flip when you meet certain objectives, but past that, the entire game comes down to draw a card, discard a card. Draw a card, discard a card. Draw the cards from the Remix deck, the villain deck, or the central discard area. Do so until there are 10 cards in the discard area, at which point you go ahead and add up all your points on this track, scoring for every single card, for every single player, factoring in the point value of the cards based on itself and based on the cards, and that is Marvel Remix. Which means just a review starting off with ease of play. Rulebook is really easy. It's a few pages, fairly short to go through. It's really easy to go through this. Like I said, basic idea is draw a card, discard a card until there are 10 cards in the discard area. Look at the values on the cards. Look at how the cards play off of each other. Make sure you have at least 1 villain and at least 1 ally or hero. That is the entire game. Everything else is fluff and details. That's the entire game right there. As far as playtime, Plays fairly quickly. I want to say around 20 minutes on the low end for lower player counts, maybe a little closer to half an hour for higher player counts, but the game moves fast. You're drawing and discarding as you work your way towards the optimal hand. As far as what I like, don't like, and can see others not liking, first of all, what I like, the Marvel theme. I enjoy Marvel when it's pasted onto games that work. I don't care for a Marvel game that isn't actually enjoyable in its own right, but once a game is enjoyable in its own right and you throw Marvel onto it, I like the Marvel IP. I am a sucker for it, and I enjoy having a hand of cards that I'm building out with villains and allies and equipment that can feel thematic in its own way. And there is some, not a ton, there is some degree of thematic immersion based on the way the cards interplay off one another. Based on the fact that certain heroes will want certain equipment will work better with certain hero types. There's a little bit of thematic immersion. Ultimately, it's a Marvel IP pasted onto a game system that works. As far as what works with that system, the other things I like, first of all, this game is easy to teach, easy to play, and is quick playing. This is a quick, fast, rewarding, punchy experience that is an excellent filler game, or an excellent, hey, it's late at night and I just want to play something quick and short before calling it wraps. This is really accessible in every single form of it. The table space, the teach, the playtime, all those things, the wide range of player counts, it's just a widely accessible game. Additionally, you want everything in this game, and I like that. I like the fact that when I'm playing this game, I do feel the crunch of making decisions. I feel the crunch of I have a hand of cards, I just drew up an 8th card, but I want everything in my hand now. And now I have to start making decisions based on both what the immediate point value of everything in my hand is, but also based on the future. What do I think can maximize best? Well, if I might get rid of this card, which is worth 18 points, and keep this card, which is worth 13 points, but that 13-point card might cascade more nicely if I get another one of these symbols. And so you're constantly making those decisions. You want everything in the game, and what you actually end up keeping or pursuing is the decision space, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that aspect, that challenge of just wanting it all. I enjoy having to make decisions as far as how to optimize my score in this game. As far as what I don't like in the game, at the end of the day, this is a very luck-based experience. Yes, you will try to sit there and play towards the best hand, but at the end of the day, if you draw certain cards, you may find those cards work better with your engine. If you're seeking out some symbols, you might draw those symbols, you might not. Other players may discard those symbols, they might not. This is a game about optimizing your score based on simply drawing cards, and the variety in scores can be huge. I've seen points as low as 45, 40, 60, 45, 50 points, and I've seen point scores as high as 100 plus. There's a large range in scoring, and a lot of it comes down to what you are able to find or others discard for you. There is definitely luck along with skill in this game. A decent amount of luck along with a decent amount of skill and optimization. As far as what I can see others not liking, you kind of want everything. Like I mentioned this already as a pro, and it is a pro for me, but in the section of what I can see it being a problem for you, the fact that you have a hand of 8 cards and everything is good for you and you have to discard something might be an experience you don't particularly love, and as you hit the halfway point on the game, that will happen. You'll start having a hand where everything is good. The question is what's good or better, and you'll find yourself discarding things, and you may find yourself regretting those decisions later. So if you don't like that kind of forced aspect of getting rid of something you like, this game is full of that as you go through it. Additionally, the game ends pretty suddenly. This is a game that once you hit, it doesn't end too quickly, but it does end suddenly. You're going through the process of drawing cards, and especially at higher player counts, you could think there's 2 or 3 turns left in the game, and suddenly people just start drawing from the deck, dropping to the discard pile, and before you know it, you go from 7 to 10 cards in the discard pile, and you don't even have time to do the last thing that you thought you wanted. This game does very much have a sudden end, which might be a bit frustrating. Less frustrating at lower player counts, a little bit more frustrating at higher player counts. As far as final thoughts on Marvel Remix, I'm a little torn on this one. Not in a bad way, in a good way. I'm a little torn in the sense that I really like what this is doing, despite having played other games that are like this in the past that didn't work quite as well for me. But Marvel Remix kind of strips it down. I haven't played Fantasy Realms, the game it's based on, so I can't comment on that. Marvel Remix kind of strips down the core concept to just purely draw, discard, do so in 20 minutes, optimize your hand, boom, done, you're over. It's not the highest strategy game that I can think of. It has a decent amount of luck mixed in with the strategy, so to me it ultimately comes down to just, hey, I want to have fun for a few minutes, and I'm going to do so. I'm just going to play this game, optimize your hand, and then put it away and play the next thing, or maybe play it 2 or 3 times, depending on the mood I'm in. When I say I'm torn, what I mean is, my instinctive rating for this is a 4 out of 5. I really like what it's doing, but I'm also mindful of the fact that there's not enough going on here that it's the kind of rating that could easily drop to a 3.5 for me. For me, it's right in that middle spot where I like it a lot. I really enjoy what this is doing, and it's fast and punchy and rewarding. But 20 plays down the road, I don't know if it'll still be there or not. So I'm going to rate it a 4 to 5, but understand this is one to definitely keep an eye on when I do my yearly, look back on all my reviews from a year ago. I am curious to see how this one holds up, or even if it's stuck around. For right now, the box size, the fast, the quick, punchy aspect of it, the wide accessibility of it, the fact that it has a Marvel IP, which does have a degree of appeal to others, all those things make me really enjoy this one so far. I'm just curious to see whether that will hold up. As far as other game recommendations, first of all, Fantasy Realms, obviously, the game it's based on, worth taking a look at that. I have not played that one. Secondly is Red Rising. If you want to check out another game that works with the same system, Red Rising from Stonemaier Games, also kind of loosely based on Fantasy Realms, added more to the experience in different ways, which might give you more if you're looking for more, or it might give you more if you're not looking for more, so you have to take that into account. And then lastly, if you're looking for other games about point optimization in a very different format, but just about gathering cards and trying to optimize your score, Cat Lady from AEG is going to give you that in a very different puzzle. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.